How y'all doing? Thank you for joining me on my YouTube page. Decided to switch over to this for a number of reasons, but hope to provide a little bit better quality and to also provide a few more features that Facebook doesn't have. But I've been getting a lot of questions about Florence and what's going to happen with the progression of this. It's now a tropical storm, but it will progress into a hurricane. So if you follow along with me for the next 15 minutes or so, we'll discuss what to expect with Florence and its progression and how that'll affect the East Coast and also Western North Carolina. So let me turn the camera around, and I've got a satellite image up currently. You can see right here on the screen, Florence, if you can follow my cursor, has entrained some dry air over the past 24 hours. So it's weakened down into a tropical storm, and but many of the models, actually all of the models, anticipate rapid intensification over the next 24 to 48 hours. We'll look at the models in just a few minutes, but I wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on the satellite presentation. These darker colors here in the white show strong, what I would call hot towers going up, and so those indicate development going on around the eye. We should see this begin to wrap up again, and I think that's when the models will get a better handle, and we'll be able to narrow that cone a little bit. Lots of uncertainty with this storm, and the models have, some of them have recurved the storm, kind of clipping the coast of North Carolina. Others bring it in kind of North Carolina, South Carolina line, and they want to bury it in to the into the land and produce a flooding event. So we'll see. But let's look at a couple models. Most recent GFS model here, you can see. I'll just run through here. And you can see Florence out here. Some rapid development should occur in the next 24 hours, and we could see a bombogenesis occur, which mean the pressure would drop 24 millibars in 24 hours. So that is possible, but I don't know that it's for certain. There's some shear and some if you remember looking back at the satellite image just a minute ago, there's a lot of moisture available, and we are looking at some upwelling that will occur, but it'll be in shallower areas. And I'm going to post an article that I've written in just as soon as I get done with this this live update that'll detail a little bit more about what upwelling is and the like thereof, and what else to watch for in the next couple days for Florence. But we're talking about it now. So if you can see the most recent progression of the GFS, you can see it drops down to a 970 millibar hurricane Monday morning, and that is out in the Atlantic, getting over some some warmer, somewhat shallower water. So and with little shear projected, and those warm, moist conditions occurring in that warm water, we should see some strong development. You can see it drops down to 943 pressure-wise, and those winds would equate to 120, 130, 140 miles per hour. That's a strong Category 3, Category 4 hurricane, and you can see as the GFS progresses, this model moves right into the coast of North Carolina, and so this is this would be Friday morning or late Thursday evening, Friday morning. It has a 938 millibar Hurricane Florence just off the coast of Wilmington, Bald Head Island, getting slashed with waves. This is just a model run, the most recent GFS. It's not certain. Nothing is certain with this storm at this moment, but it's something to take note of, and this model believes that the recurve will keep it from going into the South Carolina coast and really burying itself into the mainland and producing a widespread flooding event. So you can see as we progress through this model, Friday afternoon kind of meanders up the Outer Banks, and then just kind of interacts with the land and kind of stalls out. So I could see if this model comes true, a widespread flooding event all along the coast of North Carolina, in Greenville area, Jacksonville, even down into Wilmington, Cape Fear, locations like that, Ocracoke Island. And a lot of the models, so this is what the GFS is showing, just one representation. So let's move to the HWRF model. This model will show you what the simulated reflectivity is showing. This is Thursday early morning as it moves in. It's got a very strong 925 millibar low pressure moving towards the Wilmington shore, and it brings it right into Wilmington, basically. So that's a extremely strong, probably a Category 4 hurricane that pushes into the Wilmington area. So this is just another representation of a possible solution. This model doesn't go out any farther, so I'm not sure if it buries into the interior of North Carolina or not, or if it continues recurves and affects all of the Outer Banks. We'll see over the next few days what this model produces. It only goes out to 126 hours. So looking at this model, you can see the progression of the storm. It doesn't really have the, it starts to hook a little bit, but it doesn't really recurve like the GFS, and its center is around 100 miles to the west of what the GFS is showing at this point in time. So we don't know if it believes that it'll just kind of meander off the coast and affect the rest of the coastline or not. So we'll see what that shows. We'll do a couple of other live updates for this. My family has a trip planned to the beach, Charleston, this week, and I'm supposed to go down there on Thursday. And so we'll see if that occurs. I'm extremely interested in this system. And there's a lot of repercussions that could occur, and it could ruin my vacation, just as many of you that have been messaging me and wanting to know things. Let's see. We've got a question coming in. Hunter, if Florence happens to cross WNC, the wind you estimate, what is worst case scenario? Worst case scenario for Western North Carolina, if this thing buries itself in, like, let's watch the Euro. I'll answer this question as we watch the European model. So this is what the European model is showing. Tuesday evening, kind of pushing up into the Atlantic, and then 955 millibar low pressure, recurving somewhat, but then just misses this trough out here. So just completely misses the trough. That's what we've been talking about recently. If it gets caught by this trough, it's going to recurve out to sea and just have limited effects along the East Coast. But if it misses that trough, which is associated with former Tropical Storm Gordon that affected the couple Gulf Coast states, so we'll see if it, I don't know that trough is going to pick it up. The European kind of buries it into the interior, and as a let's see, so it has it's actually close to Wilmington as well, as it was 955 millibar low. So probably a high category in category 3. These are all just estimations. And so you can see, I'll answer the question about Western North Carolina. You can see as it buries into the interior, some models showed it the other day, making a more perpendicular entrance and really hitting the mountains of Western North Carolina, and that upslope would really really enhance the rainfall. We could see if that situation occurs, which I don't know. I'm believing more in the recurve scenario at this moment, but if the situation occurs where it buries itself into North Carolina and makes its way towards western North Carolina and kind of stalls out, then we could see upwards of 10 inches of rain, gust over 50 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour. I mean, last year we had, up on the Parkway, we had a hurricane gust when, I can't remember what, off the top of my head, what storm it was that came through. But we experienced, it might have been Irma, that we experienced the winds that came right up through western North Carolina, and we got the wind impacts. So western North Carolina is not out. It's not out of the question whether we will receive impacts from this or not. Mostly, you know, it's the coastal areas, and those are the locations that really need to be on guard, and, you know, potentially boarding up your vacation rentals, your homes down there, and moving inland. You know, anywhere from I almost want to say Charleston north to Cape Fear should be on guard. But we had a few models. If it really gets left by this trough, then, you know, a couple models kind of pushed it into like northern Florida and, like, you know, areas in on the coast of Georgia. So like I said, we're going to have a couple more planes going into this storm in the next few hours, and over the next couple days we'll have many planes into it. But we're going to get a lot more information for the models, and they'll digest that and really give us a little bit better idea if this thing is going to recurve. Historically, okay, so guys, I'm checking y'all's questions, and if you've missed anything, this video will post, and I'll also post it on my I've got an article ready that's going to go up on Ashevillewx.com, and we'll post on there. So if you've missed anything, you can rewatch the video. If I honestly don't know, next week, if you look at the European model, over the next couple days we should get frequent rainfall, pop-up showers through Tuesday, and it's going to be moist throughout even Tuesday evening, but high pressure will build in over Wednesday as this storm approaches, and we're going to be relatively dry. A lot of times with these hurricanes, if it doesn't come right into western North Carolina, we have like a high, you can see this like meso high that kind of develops, and it'll push it away from western North Carolina. Don't know if that's going to occur. I mean, we're still 5 days out, so none of this is set in stone, but a lot could occur, and a few, you know, a couple 100 miles south could mean a really big difference if it comes in, say, around Charleston. That would mean a bigger impact, in my opinion, with this storm compared to if it comes in around Wilmington for western North Carolina. So what you want to watch for is where, in regards to western North Carolina, if this storm comes in around Wilmington area, it's going to affect the Raleigh area and Greenville, North Carolina, a whole lot more compared to western North Carolina. But if we see it in or around Charleston, Hilton Head, that will move more towards western North Carolina. We'll have an upslope that occurs and an enhancement of rainfall. We could experience a flooding event with that. So just a few, you know, 150 miles or so, which, you know, is very difficult to nail down with the tropical storm this far out. So we could see some varying effects with western North Carolina, in my opinion. Going forward, I'm not... Well, I'm concerned. I'm more concerned for the coast than western North Carolina, but my concerns may grow as we progress over the next 5 days, and we'll see. We'll do another update to tomorrow at some point in time. I'll let you guys know, and when we're gonna do that, and probably tomorrow evening after the Panthers game. So thank you guys for joining me, tuning into my live YouTube channel. I'll show you one more time this amazing satellite imagery. You can see Florence attempting to get its act together. That will occur again over the next 24 to 48 hours. Should see a strong hurricane, another probably Category 3, high in Category 3 to Category 4 storm develop. With that, we will the models will get a little bit better handle on once we get the center of circulation developing. So models will likely get a better idea of, you know, if we're going to see a recurve or we're going to see this trough completely miss it up here and it meanders into the South Carolina or Georgia coast, or it recurves and hits North Carolina coast or Wilmington, or even recurves out to sea. So there's a number of scenarios on the table that are all still plausible. So keep that in mind, and just know that there's a lot of model calculus that's occurring, and it's just really difficult to nail down. I know that, you know, people who are heading to the beach tomorrow really want to know what's going on, and is this hurricane going to hit where I'm going? And I'm sorry, folks, just hard to nail it down exactly where. And, you know, 100 miles, 200 miles makes a big difference. So just bear with the meteorologist, and we'll make sure that you know when the storm approaches, you know exactly where it's going to hit. So thank you guys for joining me, and have a great evening.